Now, we have a very special topic that we want to discuss right now. If you haven't heard, the disaster that happened in Turkey. Quake that hit Turkey on February 6th lost national income pegged at $10.4 billion and lost working days at $2.91 billion. Damage from the catastrophic earthquake that struck Turkey and Syria last month has been estimated to be over $100 billion for Turkey alone, the United Nations level, in the history of the Republic of Turkey. Income inequality and a currency crisis of its value against the dollar last year. Today we have a special guest. We have American businessman with us, Cagri, who has multiple real estate investments in the United States and in Turkey. He is a real estate investor and he is a staple in the community. Now, Cagri, can you shed some light on what you know about this situation and what's happening in Turkey right now?
First of all, thanks for inviting
to
talk about this very important topic. I don't see this as the Turkey's problem. I see this as more regions, more global countries' problem. And when this happened, it was declared category 4 help from the government, which means that anyone and everyone is invited to help the nation because it was a very big, huge earthquake. And to scale this, I'll give you an example, Sheriff.
Yes.
I think it was 11 p.m. Turkey time, which is 3 p.m. New York time.
Yeah.
I called a friend of mine that we do business together. And when I woke up in the morning, he was dead.
Wow.
Building collapsed. Not only him, his wife, 3 kids, mother and father. Imagine you sleep and you wake up, everything is wiped out. 12 cities, the size of Florida, just to give you a scale, how big it was impacted. Part of the reason why it's impacted so bad, because usually the earthquakes happen 15 to 30 kilometers below grade. This one was only 6 kilometers below grade. So the impact to around was way bigger than the other earthquakes in the world. So, I mean, not one man hand can handle this immediately. That's why there were some I call it aftershock, not the earthquake aftershock, but aftershock that people didn't realize how big it is. And
well, that leads me to a question that I have for you. So in Japan, I know that there have been similar earthquakes with the same or greater magnitude than the one that was in Turkey, yet the devastation is far greater in Turkey. Why do you think that that is?
Well, Sheriff, it's easy to answer. It's the quality of the construction.
Okay.
I mean, imagine anywhere in the world, greed is the worst thing to have. So people, the contractors, the developers were greedy enough to make it more, to a less quality. And I'm not talking about just old houses, 50 years old, 40 years old, but also the newest house in one of the cities collapsed. And 820 people died under that building. 820 people under one, not even one single soul captured alive. I mean, with all this said, you're talking about Japan. They know how to deal with earthquakes. They know how to live with earthquakes. And in our case, even though we're in the one of the worst zones in the world based on the earthquakes, we didn't learn from our mistakes. 1999, another earthquake, 17,000 people died. And in this case, 50,000 people died. So the excuse is, wow, it was so big, it was so devastating. No, it was just not handled right based on the construction and the quality of it.
Now, do you think the fault line has anything to do with it, the fact that Turkey sits on a fault line?
Especially this area, the city Kahramanmaraş and Hatay are in the worst fault lines in the world. And there's another one that is similar to this around California and also in Japan. So this happened, this was expected over 1,000 years. They were expecting this magnitude earthquake in that region. It happened and devastated.
Wow.
Horrible.
I know that you know a great deal about construction methods, Chari. How are these buildings built? Because for them to collapse the way that they are they built a certain way in Turkey, or how are they built?
Well, like I said, in any earthquake zone, in any fault line like that, dangerous, first of all, you should go horizontal, not vertical. You should really study the land carefully.
Yes.
And you shouldn't build at the top of the fault line. You should build it somewhere even a little bit far away. But when you look at the buildings, they're all at the top of the fault line.
Yes.
So that created more catastrophe. And heavy materials,
Right.
concrete, bricks, more concrete, steel. It didn't help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, you were saying that they predicted this for over 1,000 years,
Yes.
right? Do you think that people got a little lackadaisical and thinking that maybe it's just never going to happen, it's not going to come, and that's why they kind of built on the fault lines and they didn't build proper codes? Or why do you think they're...
Well, you're describing Japan versus us, right? I mean, ready versus not ready. Living with reality versus living in false reality.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So it was expected, and it's a very important line. It should have been taken care differently, based on the construction methods, where to construct, how to construct, more reviews, more approvals, more rules, more regulations. Well, you can only blame the contractor who did that, right? I mean,
absolutely.
this contractor got an approval from an authority.
Exactly.
So
it's the authority that should have
Yes.
taken more precautions.
Yes.
And that was going to be my next question,
Yeah.
which how could this have been prevented? But you basically answered
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Building horizontally, making sure that they do deeper investigations before they give out these approvals to build. on the
Sheriff,
floor
that's
lines.
one other important point that you made. Like, let's do it horizontal.
Yes.
I mean, let's do vertical, no problem. In Japan, there are so many high rises.
Oh, yeah.
Can go up to 10.0 earthquakes.
Right.
Go horizontal, vertical, no problem. Number one, why do you need vertical when you have the land?
Right.
Number two, if you do vertical, then do it right.
Right. And Turkey has the land. Japan is pretty
Smaller,
small,
yes.
of course, in comparison
Yes.
to the size of Turkey. So they
Yes.
have the. Wow. And we showed footage earlier. I just want to say that for those of you who may not have seen just the devastation, if we can just show some more clips of that, it's truly heartbreaking. And the amount of people that are homeless. And this is just something that's really serious that many people are not paying a great deal of attention to.
Sheriff, I'll tell you one other important thing. Right after this was called the Category 4 emergency area,
Right.
a lot of countries showed up immediately. United States of America,
Yes.
Israel, other surrounding regional countries like Greece.
Yeah.
So they all showed up and provided help. And 10 days, they pulled out live bodies.
Right.
They pulled out this little girl, 4 years old, after 6 or 7 days, alive. And she was very happy. She said, hey, go back and pull out my sister. Okay, where's your sister? She's there. And one of the rescue person asked her, would you like to drink water? What do you want? She said, no, the sister treated me so well. She gave me water and she told me that I'll be rescued. I'll get the help soon. And then they went back, there's no sister, nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine it's just an angel came to her
Right.
and helped
Oh my
her,
gosh.
protected her. It's unbelievable, like very sad, very difficult stories to digest.
Yes.
But, you know, this is part of life.
Right.
You can't do that much when it arrives, like in Caribbean, Florida, all these hurricanes and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So when it
Natural
happens,
disasters.
it happens.
Yeah.
It's all about how you're prepared.
Yeah,
Right.
it's truly heartbreaking, and yeah, it's great to see the world come together to help in,
Yes.
in situations
Yes.
like that. So I'm really happy that we were able to make peace for this and
Yes.
do that.
Absolutely.
Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what you do here for work in the United States.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know you studied architecture and real estate. So what made you choose New York to come to?
Well, believe it or not, first I came to Houston, Texas.
Okay.
I lived there, I studied there. I started working there. I learned it from the best when it comes to architecture. And Then I start becoming part of the real estate, investment development, construction, and everything related to real estate because of my architectural background. And I've been in New York since 2015, but before I was in Houston and Chicago. And I learned, then I was ready to come to New York. Now I'm with the big sharks.
Right. I was going to say, New York can be a little vicious in that field.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the most enjoyable cities in the world.
Yes, absolutely. So what other cities do you see that are popular and in attraction for foreign real estate investors?
Well, there are three types of cities in the United States. One, the branded cities like New York, now Miami, let's say, LA. The others are the second-tier cities that's been out there, and the prices are almost at the peak, but still doing great. And third-tier cities that a lot of people live and they don't have enough supply, and you can go there and develop, build, and you can provide the supply where there is a huge demand for the projects like Oklahoma, like Pittsburgh. Like these cities, we generate most of our projects and revenue, to be honest with you.
Wow, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have
think that.
Yes,
Right.
I would say the same. I would never think that.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
And so you're tapping into all the different cities and markets here in the
Different
US.
cities
Yeah.
and diversifying our portfolio.
Yeah.
Not only putting all the eggs in one basket, but different type of projects.
Gotcha.
Either ground up or existing, either medical offices or condo. Depends on the numbers. You know, numbers say the truth.
Yeah. Well, because every city needs that. You need medical offices. You don't, not every city needs skyscrapers, but you need buildings, right?
Buildings,
Oh, yes.
People need to work out of stuff.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Every time they are telling me, oh, the real estate is in crisis. It's not. I mean, as long as there are people living, that they will need shelter. And this can vary between condo to rental, but no matter what, one of them will be the necessity. If it's not condo this year, because of inflation, then the rental market is doing great.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, how has the real estate market affected you? Because, you know, the past few years, it was really good buying time.
Right.
And now the market has changed a lot. So how's that impacted your business?
Well, inflation is not helping anyone.
Yeah.
Neither me nor you. We see it in the market, right? So I think there is too much money in the world. Somehow this will be balanced. But right now, everything is living with this, not only United States.
Yes.
For example, in Turkey, the undeclared inflation is around 100,000.
Right.
So imagine 10% versus 100% inflation. So people get used to live with it, or they act and take care of it, like US does.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay, you guys. Well, thank you so much, Shari. We are just going to go to a quick commercial, and then we'll be right back with you to ask you some more questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.